or whatever, purely for the fact that you're going to get attacked. Eventually, it's inevitable. Somebody's going to run past you eventually, and they're going to take a pick at you and decide that they want to attack you and steal anything they can off you. Now, your terrain will play a big part in this. So, I mean, for example, if you decide that you're going to place it in a large, flat, wide open area, then it's going to be nice. You're going to be able to build a wall around your hut. You're going to be able to see people coming from quite a far distance. You're also obviously going to be on flat surface, so you're not going to have to worry about trying to terraform a lot of the land so you can place buildings on. If you chose to be on the side of a hill or on the top, sometimes that can be good. If you're at the top of a hill, well, that's just going to give you advantages anyway, which, you know, strategically you're going to be on the top of a hill. People who want to attack you are going to have to come up the hill, which means that it's going to be a lot easier for you to defend. Again, if you are in the middle of the hill, you've got to worry this time about people coming from above you, as well as coming from, you know, from the bottom of the hill up to the middle. And also, if you're at the bottom of the hill, you're going to have to worry about people coming from all directions, because you're going to have people coming from above you, and coming from all sides and in front of you, and from the bottom as well. Now, my opinion is I would recommend either trying to find somewhere that's on a hill, somewhere where the sides are quite steep so that people can't actually climb up the side of the wall, and making sure that there's only one entrance into your initial base. But I'd also recommend doing a valley, trying to find a valley that's close to resources, and this also allows you to actually look at having one angle of attack. You can funnel a lot of your enemies, if you're getting attacked by a few people, through one entrance. So let's say that you have mountains all the way around you apart from one side, which is basically where most people would walk through to find you, and let's say that the valley itself is quite steep, so you're not going to have to worry about people coming from above you, because as they travel down the mountain they're going to damage themselves anyway, and they're going to lose health, so that's not really much to worry about. So I would recommend going for something that is either high up or somewhere that is low down with loads of steep mountains around you, so that it's basically easy for you to defend. Now, as features do get implemented into the game, you are going to encounter new weapons. I mean, eventually, I'm just kind of speculating here, perhaps we might see some sort of artillery weapons in the game at some very, very, very late stage in the game. Catapults, things like that. I mean, you know, the game is ever expanding, so we might see catapults or anything like that, and if that is the case, then you know, you're going to have to probably rethink of where you're going to be. But for this moment in time, you don't really have to worry about anything like that. Now, I do want to just quickly stress that you don't worry about being attacked. I know it sounds kind of daunting being a solo player. It is. You are going to get attacked, and being a solo player, you're not going to have anybody else to help you or defend with you, and you are going to be on your own. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't create allies. You can create allies, and you can have friends close by that are going to help you in times where you need it. And you can also do trade alliances. You can perhaps allow trades to go on, so you can trade with other tribes and so on and so forth. But I just want to stress, guys, that it is daunting being a solo player, but if you can do it, it's very good. You've got no one to answer to but yourself, and you know, you can design your little area how you want it to be, with no interference from anybody else, which is one of the plus sides, really. So again, you know, look at resources, look at the surrounding terrain, basically look at where you are on an actual map, if you can, on one that Trado's done. You can see roughly whereabouts you are. There is a grid map there, so you can kind of see roughly whereabouts you are in the world, so you know how far it is to other places. Now, if you're wanting to be a recluse and away from as many people as you can, then what I would suggest doing is finding your place and then going into the chat channel and putting in /s, that's /s for sugar, and put in there just a simple question, anybody here. Now that will put a message out to your grid that you're in and also the surrounding grids that are connected to your grid that you're in. Now what that means is that people in those grids will be able to see your message and hopefully they'll reply. If you do get a reply, then you know that there's people near and you may want to continue moving and finding somewhere else. However, if no one replies, then you might be quite safe. So therefore you don't really need to worry about moving anywhere else once you've decided that that's the place you want to be. So yeah guys, that's basically everything with a solo player. I'm not going to go into how you know, how to go about doing it or anything like that. These are just my pointers on what I would suggest doing first off as soon as you enter into the game itself as a brand new player. So lastly, we're going to be looking at creating your own tribe. Now I'd just like to point out that obviously my other tutorials that I've done are or do include how to create a tribe, how to set up quests and things like that. This is basically not going to be this. This is going to be what you would need to do in order to create your own tribe. Okay, so pretty much everything I've said in the previous in the actual previous solo player guide that I've just done basically goes for actually doing your own tribe as well. I feel at this point in time for Xsyon the only factors that you need to really think of is those I've mentioned in the solo player section, your resources and your location and obviously surrounding terrain, where you're going to be, those kind of things. Other than that, when creating your own tribe, the other factor you do need to take into consideration is space. You're going to need a lot more space as a tribe than you are as a solo player. As you'll be having obviously a lot more than just you in the tribe, hopefully you're not going to be a loner, and obviously a lot of space would help with this, purely for the fact that your members are going to want to create things and build things and things like that, so you're going to need to have a lot of space to be able to cater for that. So basically when you start a tribe, it would help a lot if you actually decide or think of or create a certain plan of how you're going to set out and lay out your tribe. Now I'm going to go through certain factors which I feel personally are useful when creating your tribe, what things to actually consider when doing the layout, but these are my opinions and these are what I feel I would do when creating a tribe, not necessarily what you need to worry about doing. So first off, as I say, I'm not going to presume to tell you how to set out your tribe in terms of layout, nor am I going to tell you how you should organise it. I'm simply going to tell you some of the features you should incorporate in your tribe village to actually perhaps make it work a little bit better. Things that you should really include when setting out your plan or your layout of a tribe is you need to look at areas. Now what I mean by areas or districts is basically organise it so that you have areas of storage, areas for your vaults and your banks for players to keep their prized possessions, areas for meetings, so perhaps you might have your tribe totem as a centre point to all of your village, and any time that you want to have a meeting you can gather all your tribe there to have a town meeting, and you know, you can have that there and that will be designated for that. You also need to organise it so that you have living areas, so that you can not probably designate each individual person exactly where they're going to build, but you can say, hey newbie, welcome to our tribe. This is kind of how the things we work here, and this is the area to which you can build your home or house or upgrade your things. I mean, having these areas, it basically points out to new players and existing players that you're the tribe leader and you do not want everybody just creating buildings all over the place. You want some organisation, and I think that, you know, being able to have areas for these certain things will help an absolute ton. I mean, I can't stress it as enough. I mean, if I was going to create one, which I will be at some point in the future, then I would definitely have areas and districts, especially as it grows, because, you know, as a tribe grows in numbers, so does the amount of land you can actually use to build on. So you're going to need to have areas. In moving, you also need to be aware that just basically be aware of future features to be added to the game. So just a few off the top of my head that I believe are going to get implemented at some point. You need to be aware that carts, as in horse and carts, might be introduced. Some sort of carrying facility where you're being able to carry a few certain objects that you wouldn't normally be able to carry, or things like that. So carts is a big one, and as you can tame animals and have animals, and doing farming and agriculture and things like that, you need to take that into consideration, because the reason I say that is, for example, if you decide that you are going to have a village and all your buildings are compact and quite close together, then how is your cart going to get around your village? You're going to need to make sure that you leave roads inside your village that are wide enough, with no obstructions on either side, for things such as animals and carts to actually walk through, and be able to go through, because the last thing you want is to have to go through one side and find out you can't actually get in and go straight through the middle of the tribe, but instead you're going to have to go all the way around to get to where you're going, and you know you don't want to do that. So other than those, you are going to have to, as I've said, sort out road system. Now the easiest way really to mark out districts and things like that is two ways really. Have a website, or have a file transfer website where you can upload and share any drawings or any plans that you've laid out for members of your tribe to follow. And another way to actually draw out your plan with by actually in-game is two ways really. You can use roads to mark out certain areas, so you can say this side of this road is for living space, this side is for anything else I decide to create. Also you can mark out with terraforming. You can possibly raise the land a little bit, or lower the land a little bit to mark out areas. So guys, really that is all I've got to say really with that. All I will say is that, you know, if you're stuck with anything, please message me on the forums. It's Saint Bob. Message me on YouTube, SaintBob001, or use the guides. They're there to help you, and that is /H for help, and they will help you out. So guys, thanks very much for listening. Hopefully I've helped a few people out there. I know I haven't showed you anything, but hopefully I've told you a few things that you possibly can note down and use for yourself. And I look forward to seeing you all in game. So for now, Saint Bob signing out.